When I was younger, I used to think that being beloved of God was something to be lived up to. And of course, there's some truth to that. Being beloved of God means that I'm called to love myself and to strive to love the people around me and to take care of the planet in ways that I might not risk if I weren't beloved of God. But as I've grown older and have hopefully grown in the Christian tradition, I've come to realize that being beloved of God is not so much something to be lived up to, or at least that's not the only way to talk about it. But being beloved of God is also something to be kind of relax into, to accept or to embrace. And that one of the key disciplines of the Christian life is learning to just simply sit with the notion that God embraces us, that we are God's beloved children. I find in myself, and maybe you find in yourself, that there are times when I resist this. Particularly when I'm in pain or when I'm wrestling with some issue. It's a great tendency in at least myself to blame myself for all kinds of things that I'm not really responsible for. To blame myself for thinking through issues and feeling like I should have them already figured out. But over the years, I've learned to relax about that a bit more. When I was younger, I used to think that it was important for me to sort of cut out parts of me, cut out thoughts or impulses or feelings that I found to be uncomfortable. And I kept hoping, especially when I was quite a bit younger, that I could just, cut them out and get rid of that. But what I've come to see a little bit better at this point in my life, at this point in my own development as a disciple of Jesus, is that I'm not so much called to cut them out as I am called to learn to embrace them and work with them. And so, while I may have some feelings that I find uncomfortable or some confusion in my life, part of what being beloved of God invites me to is to simply embrace that confusion, to embrace that exploration process, to embrace those feelings that I find uncomfortable, and even over time to learn to embrace the experience of being uncomfortable itself. That being beloved of God does not mean that the part of us that we love, that we enjoy, the part of us that we're proud of is beloved of God. It means that our whole self is really beloved of God. And this is part of what I mean by being able to relax into God's love instead of always striving to live up to God's love. And certainly there is a lot of thought and effort that needs to go into what does it mean for me to love others and to love myself. Being beloved of God does not replace ethics. In fact, being beloved of God is the beginning of ethics. But being beloved is not something that I achieve. Rather, it is something that I already have, if I can just relax enough to let God embrace me. If I can just settle down enough to hear God's words, "You are my beloved child." May you and all of us wrestle by hearing those words and relaxing into God's embrace.